Hello there. I'm Super John, and today we're going to be talking about why being an automotive photographer sucks. I'm just kidding, but for real, let's get into how I started photography and how I turned it from a hobby into a profession. I first got into photography because I love cars. Cars have always been a passion for me. Photography was the next best step because I wanted to capture the beauty of cars and capture the emotion that you get from driving a car or looking at a car that's been on your poster for as long as you can remember, and then you see it in person and you're like, wow, like this is a dream come true. To appreciate the craftsmanship that went on behind it. I was a hobbyist for about 2 years, but it got to a point where I wanted to do this like for a living. At the time, there weren't that many photographers doing it. I think there was Larry Winning Auto, who was like a big inspiration for me. Larry Chen, big inspiration. Zach Burrell, I think he's over in like the UK. But I really enjoyed seeing them take something that seemed so difficult for me, and so like concepts that were so foreign, and implement them perfectly into these breathtaking photos. And it's something that I resonated with for so long. I get asked a lot, how did I take it from a hobby to a professional career? So in this video, I'm going to show you guys like some of my first photos that they're still on my Instagram. You can go see them if you want to go, to my first few posts. But show my first photos, show how my angles were really bad and my editing was really bad, and the cars that I was shooting weren't the same level that I'm shooting now. The locations that I used, and just so many other things go into making a perfect photo. So I want to show the progression from my beginning stages into where I am now and how I progressed. Because there is going to be trial and error. I mean, you're going to see a photo and you're going to want to replicate it, and you're not going to be able to because there's so many different ways to edit a photo. I mean, you can mess with the exposure, you can mess with the composition, you can mess with the color grade. Like, there's way too many things to cover in just one video. But I want to show you the progression and how you can become a professional if you really desire to do it. Enough messing around. Let's get into it. We'll start with my editing process. When I first started my editing process, I made it harder on myself because I thought that it was okay to go shoot in parking lots or not worry about my lighting or worry about my composition, that I could just go in and edit and become a better editor, and that would make me a better photographer. But in reality, 50 to 75% of your work is done before you even download the photos and get to your computer. You need to have good composition in your photos if you want a good photo. You need to have good lighting in your photo. You need to make sure that your locations aren't just parking lots. Like if you want to use a road, go find an asphalt road somewhere that's freshly paved, or something that has maybe like some cool lines in it to give some detail in your roads. Find a place that has a really cool backdrop. I could have gone and filmed this video literally anywhere, but I made a point to come up here and have a really cool bridge to shoot at, or I was by the creek earlier, and make sure that my lighting is behind me so that I'm not having direct lighting on my face and all that kind of stuff. These are things that are super easy for you to do that will just take your photography a little step forward. So let's talk about locations, because that's probably what I get asked for the most, is people asking me for my locations, which is fine. Like I totally understand it. If there's a really cool location, you have a car in mind, you maybe have a photo that you're like, oh, this would look super cool there. But just because I or another photographer have a really cool shot at a location does not mean that that location is going to work for you. If you shoot at a location, I shoot at a location, we're going to have completely different photo sets because we're going to see things differently. We're different creatives, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, but because it is a creative job, you're going to see things a different way. I may have a location like this, and both of us, two of us shoot here, and you may not even use this backdrop. You may not even use this bridge because you're like, oh, the bridge has a little kink right there. But I think it makes it cool because it just adds a little element of, I don't know, extraness. It's hard to put a finger on it, but it adds elements if something is just slightly off, that maybe it kind of like eats your brain a little bit. It's kind of cool. Just getting out of your comfort zone, I think, is going to be the biggest thing for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to go out and explore, or they just don't have the means to go out and explore, and that's totally fine. But if this is something that you want to have be more than a hobby, you have to be willing to put in the work to go find some really, really cool locations, and be willing to drive 2 hours up to North Georgia. And if you have a client who's paying, then have them pay for the gas money. But they need to understand that the pics or videos are gonna be way better because your background is freaking sick. You're gonna have mountains in the background, or like fall colors, or whatever. The roads are gonna be nicer, less people around. All things that will come together to make your composition and your photos just better. And then the last thing is gonna be lighting. You wanna make sure that you're backlit, or at least coming from the sides. Never shoot with the sun hitting your subject, especially a car, because cars inherently are reflective. Anytime you shoot, you have to consider lighting. You have to make sure if you're shooting at sunrise, the sun's coming up from the east. If you're shooting at sunset, it's coming up from the west. So pick a location where you can set up the car where you can take photos of a cool backdrop, because if I'm shooting this in the morning instead of the evening, the sun's gonna be right there and I can't shoot this video, or I have to shoot with the camera here and me standing over there. Does that make sense? You have to configure yourself properly. So, back to editing. You know what? I really shouldn't even say my editing process. It's really just like my taking photos process. You know what I mean? You have a great composition. You have really good angles. You have really good lighting. Cool location, whatever it may be. You get home, you download the photos, and boom. Okay, let's get to editing. Right? When I first started editing, I drew a lot of inspiration from other photographers. I think that's the best way that you're gonna learn how to edit. Not necessarily by copying them, but by seeing what they do right and using that in your photos or your videos or whatever it may be. Of course, as every photographer does, you get to your blue and orange stage. So I would use a lot of like blue midtones and shadows, and then, get into, orange highlights and overdone, you know what I mean? And it just, some of the photos were cool, but it just didn't, like looking back now, I'm just like, bro, what was I doing? And I think a lot of photographers can relate to that. So I think one of the biggest things is taking inspiration, but making sure that you're taking the best parts of it and not making it worse. Everything in moderation, right? Everything good in moderation. Maybe have someone who's a professional photographer look at your photos, see what you're doing well, give you some good feedback, but see what you're doing wrong. I know this is a little bit of like a negative way to look at things, but I learned a lot more from my failures and from my bad photos than I did from my successes and my good photos. Every time I would take a bad photo, I could see what I was doing wrong. When I would take a good photo, I wasn't learning much from it. I was like, wow, that's a good photo, and then kind of just moving on. But if I ever took a bad photo, I was like, okay, this is a bad photo. How can I learn from this? How can I make this better? That all to be said, let's look at some of my old photos from when I first started photography to now. So I'm gonna pop some up on screen of my first photos that I ever took, probably with my RSX, honestly. We're living in a world where so many people are kind of scared to express their creativeness. There's a lot of judgment on the internet and social media, and sometimes you just kind of have to put yourself out there. Like, I don't know if social media back in 2018, 2019 was like it was today. I don't know if I would have started taking photos, because I probably would have gotten a lot of hate on my old photos because they just sucked. And I thought I was a professional photographer, or, a few years in, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a professional photographer. I'm making $3 or $4 grand a year from it, and that's not professional photography. That's still hobby photography. And I think that is where I'm going to transition into how to go business-wise from a hobby to a professional job. So, next location, let's talk business. I went to college for business management. There's so many different avenues to get into professional photography. You can be the best photographer ever and not have the business sense to get into it professionally. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but a lot of people who are creative aren't necessarily in it for business. They got into this because they love to create, and it does take a special kind of person to be both creative and business minded. And I think that's where working in a team is a really good opportunity for a lot of creatives and a lot of just photographers to put their skills to a professional use without having to dedicate so much time to the business side of things. Because a lot of creatives just don't enjoy it, and if this is something that you want to do for work, you have to enjoy it. I've always loved cars, and having a different car every day to shoot, or having, I don't know, some kind of automotive thing with wheels, having that change up every day is so special to me, because you get to experience something new and something different every time you go out and you shoot. It's not the same car every day, although it was for me for a while. I was just shooting my RSX for a year or two, but that's how you get better. You can't just start with supercars because you rely on the car to look cool in a location that's kind of mid, or with lighting that's kind of mid because it's a Lamborghini. But if you start with a Honda Civic or with an RSX or something like that, you have to make sure that you have a cool location and you have good lighting, because your car can't carry your photos for you. Originally, when I started shooting, I would get my clients by offering them free shoots. I would say, hey, I want to learn, I want to find new locations, I want to shoot new cars, and I want to try new things. So if you're cool, let's go shoot on this day if you're free, and go to this location, and let's try and make something cool happen here. That is really how I learned business, because if you provide clients with a really cool photo or a really cool set of photos or video or whatever, you do it for free, probably they'll come back wanting more. It's pretty good likelihood that they're gonna come back wanting more. So you definitely have to have some sense of personability if you're gonna do this job. I'm not discouraging you from working maybe like a corporate setting for photography, but if you wanna be in this as like an entrepreneur sense where you're your own boss, you have to be personable. You have to make sure that you know what your clients want. Make sure if your client is a business that you adhere to whatever guidelines that they may be under, because some businesses are under certain guidelines. So it may work for you to take a couple business courses, find a local school that'll kind of help you understand the basics of business, and read a couple books, watch some YouTube videos. Invest in yourself, because if this is something that you want to do professionally, you're going to have to invest into it. I mean, it's going to be a business for you. So invest in yourself and reap the rewards from that, because if you don't invest in yourself, who is? Dang, that was good. I was like, invest in yourself. So recurring clients, probably 80%, maybe 75, 80% of my clients are clients that I've had before, or some of them just like a yearly shoot to show whatever new mods they have, or show a new car that they have or something like that. Like Ryan, I just shot with him. I think I've shot with him like 4 times now, and each year he has a new car or a new shoot that he wants to do, or new mods. And Johnny Tours on Instagram, he's always freaking wrapping his car or changing something up on it or something like that. So we've shot a ton. I know Keaton, he and I have done a ton of shoots. He's had a bunch of BMWs, and it's just every year there's something new. So make sure that you maintain those friendships with your clients, not out of a sense of, hey, I'm just gonna stay friends with you, so when you need a shoot, I'm your man, but genuinely just enjoy talking to them and be yourself. Like, enjoy investing in your friends, and that's part of being a business owner, is putting time and effort into your friendships and your relationships, and making sure that after you do a shoot, make sure that they're happy with it. Check in on them. If you guys were talking to their shoot and they were talking about, hey, my wife's having a baby soon, just be a good human being and check in on them and be like, yo, how's everything with the baby? Is everything going okay? Is everybody doing okay? How's it being a father? That kind of thing. Like, a lot of it comes down to just being a good person. Like, just invest in other people. I have so many friends who went off the grid for 2 years because they had a kid, and they weren't in the car scene, but we still kept in touch and hung out when we could. And I know, we have busy lives. You may not have time to go hang out with your friends or go do a mountain run that takes 6 hours or whatever, but you guys could go grab lunch. Or my buddy David comes and brings me food all the time at work. We go eat shawarma together and just catch up. Like, we started out because I shot his Audi S4 like 3 or 4 years ago, and we still hang out like once a week. We go grab lunch together or whatever, because he works right down the road from me. So, just invest in people and create genuine relationships. And if you don't want to have a genuine relationship with somebody, then don't. I think too many people focus on making sure that they get the photo shoot done and that they're happy with their photos. But a lot of people forget that it's the client's photos when it comes down to it. So you want to make sure that you check in on your clients and make sure that they're happy with their photos, and maybe offer them another photo shoot discounted a little bit later in the year, and be like, hey, if you want, I saw you got new carbon fiber parts on your car. You want to go take some updated photos? I'll do it half off for you, but you have to meet me closer to my house or something like that. I don't know. Just create those genuine relationships with people and check in on them. Be a good person, and you'll be a lot more successful in your business life. Understand that sometimes there's just not a fit between you and the client for what their needs are. If someone wants a super fast-paced, really edited cut of a video, I'm not the person to go to, because I do cinematic videos. But someone like Carter, here's his Instagram here, he's super good with that kind of stuff. He's a master with transitions and edits and fast-paced stuff. So I wouldn't take that job and then sublet it to him. I would just say, okay, go to this guy and he'll make it happen for you because he's really good. Your client is happy, you're happy, and Carter's happy. It's a win-win-win for everybody. And sure, you lose out on what, a couple $100 with something that may have caused you a whole lot of headache, or something where the client wasn't happy with the results because you're not the person to go to for that. Making sure that the client is happy is going to take you way further in life, because they're going to see that you're not about the money, you're about making sure that they're happy. I'm a firm believer in the fact that the customer is not always right. Sometimes the customer or the client doesn't know what they want, and you have to figure out what they want, or listen to what their end goals are for the reasons they're doing this, and help them, guide them through what will work for them. If a customer who has a business comes to you and says, hey, I want to promote my business and I want to get to 10K followers at the end of the year, you have to tell them, okay, what's your game plan for this? Do you need me to make you a game plan for this? Or do you need me to just be like a media person for you and you already have the game plan set up? They say, okay, well, I want to post 3 photos a week and 4 videos a week and do all these stories and yada, yada, yada. And you say, okay, is that the most efficient use of our time? Or should we do, let's say 3 videos a week and maybe 1 photo set a week, and understand that you don't need all that content, and it might be a little spammy to a lot of your followers, and people will lose interest really fast. Do you want to create high quality content, or do you want to create quick content that has a lot of content? You need to figure out what your client needs, and it's up to you to be the one to meet those expectations and understand what you're getting into, and stick up for yourself. If a client says they want this and they end up switching to this, be like, okay, well, if you want that, that's an add-on, and just don't get pushed around, because that happens a lot with a lot of newer photographers, and they kind of just want the business. Yeah, stand up for yourself. It's a cutthroat world out there, and a lot of people get taken advantage of. So know your worth. If you're just learning things and you want to see if this is for you, shoot for a business for a month for free. Shoot for a PPF company or a wrap company where you get to see a lot of cool cars, but you're challenged with creating content. Because if you can't create content, then this isn't the job for you, unfortunately. I don't really like social media, but at the same time, it's an outlet for us as photographers and videographers, or artists in general. This is how we get our name out and how we get our word out. And I have a lot of people who are like, hey, I'm not really big on social media, but how can I grow and stuff like that. So form a close team around you who excels in what they do. Don't necessarily be a jack of all trades. Have someone who's really good at this kind of photography or this kind of photography. And I have a whole list of photographers and videographers who've been professionals for years, who, if you need weddings, go over there. If you need portraits, go over there. And if someone needs automotive, they're recommended to me by those people. And create a network, be good friends with some photographers. I think really this is all coming down to just being a good person, honestly, yeah. So there you have it. Aubrey's running to go look at horses. Here, there's Aubrey going to look at horses. Dude, I've literally never seen her run so much. Oh, this is awesome. She looks so happy. Look at that. The hard truth that I think a lot of people don't really want to hear is that this may not be a job that works for you as a profession. This may be something that will stay as a hobby for a while, and I want you to know that that's okay. I think social media has presented photography in a sense where anybody can be a professional photographer, and I really don't think that's true. You definitely need to have an eye for it, and you need to have a business sense for it. If you really enjoy automotive photography like I do, you have to be okay with the fact that this might not be sufficient to live off of. I have been shooting strictly automotive for the past 2 years, and I have been living off of it, but this year I got into a tractor company, which it's still technically automotive. I mean, it's equipment now, but still something that I enjoy and something that I can kind of resonate with. But at the same time, it's helped me learn a lot about my style of shooting, my style of editing, and it's introduced me to things that I never would have thought of as a photographer, or I never would have considered as a photographer if I hadn't done this. I think it's helped me expand my knowledge a lot. It's helped me kind of take some of those things, input them in my car shoots now, which is really, really cool, because I never thought I would learn anything from shooting tractor equipment, but here we are. And it's helped me appreciate car photography in a sense of I really love cars, and I've been doing this for 6 years and it still hasn't gotten tiring for me. You know what I mean? I still have the same passion that I did back when I first started, and you know, if I have a photo shoot tomorrow, right? And I'm just like, I'm excited for it because it's another opportunity to create something fun. And if you're not as excited for it as I am each time you go out to shoot, then it's probably not something that you're gonna enjoy as a profession. And you may be working at a corporate job, a 9 to 5, and you're like, oh man, I really wanna do photography, but then you're like, oh, I have to go to this shoot tonight or whatever. And you know, you're kind of dreading your shoots and stuff like that, then safe to say you're probably not gonna enjoy it as a profession. It's gonna be just like that 9 to 5 that you're working, and it's just not gonna be enjoyable. So a good analogy that I have is I love golf. I've been playing golf my whole life. I used to go to the range with my dad when I was a kid. I played golf in college, and I really enjoyed golfing, and I still really enjoy golfing. And I have sunk in probably thousands of dollars into golf equipment and golf balls and rounds of golf, and I have not gotten any better at it. And that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that because I love doing it. I love golfing, I love being outside, I love hanging out with my friends or my family or whatever, and just having a good time doing something I love as a hobby. And I've never thought about doing it as a profession because there are people who have been doing it for as long as I can remember, you know what I mean? Who are much better than I at it. And even though I can go out and shoot a decent round, it's never crossed my mind that, oh, I really want to go every single day to the range for 4 or 5 hours and, you know, really take this seriously, because that's what you have to do for photography. You have to go out every day and you have to go shoot a car or go shoot some nature or just shoot something, edit something, you know, learn and take a class, watch YouTube videos. Like, that's what I did for photography for about 2 years. Is every single day I was out shooting the same thing, making myself better, editing the same thing, making my edits better, getting my color grades down, just doing something new to improve myself. And I think that's what a lot of photographers who want to be professionals lack. They lack self-discipline to become better. I think a lot of them just don't have the drive for it. And if you want to be good, you have to have that. So I'm going to end with a challenge to all of you who are watching. If you're a professional photographer, or if you're someone who's just a hobbyist who wants to look into becoming a professional, I want to challenge you to learn a new skill. Take 30 days to learn a new editing software, or go shoot in 10 places that you've never shot before. Or each day, go shoot a car. It doesn't matter if it's your mom's Kia Soul or if it's a Lamborghini Aventador. Go shoot a car, learn how to work with the angles, learn how to work with the car, become a better photographer through that. And at the end of the 30 days, I want y'all to report back to me and tell me how it's helped you, if it's helped you. You know, you could just be like, hey, this was kind of a waste of my time. You know, I still feel stuck in the same rut that I was before, and I will happily help you figure out what's wrong and how you can become better. But I think at the end of the 30 days, if you're really challenging yourself, you will make a drastic improvement. If you're truly passionate about doing this and passionate about cars and photography, then I think you are already ahead of the game in front of so many other people. And if there's anything that I can do to help you guys become more successful, understand anything about this amazing opportunity that you have before you, then please don't hesitate to message me or comment, or just let me know if you need anything. So I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. I think in the next video, I'm gonna do a workflow breakdown on my editing process. I have had a couple people ask me for a YouTube video on that. So kind of after my shoot, download all my files, and where do I go from there? Where do I start? So we'll get into that a little bit next week. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you then. Peace out.